Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Callum and this week we're going to be kicking off a new series of Pack 1 Pick 1 videos. What does that mean? Well, Monarch, like most Flesh and Blood sets, is designed to be drafted. So I'm going to open up this pack of first edition Monarch and I'm going to pretend that I'm sitting down to do a draft and I'm going to give you some thoughts about what I would first pick if that was the case. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of the other Legend Story Studios staff in here one by one, and I'm not going to tell them anything about what I thought about the contents of the pack, and they're going to give their opinions. Now, it might be unanimous, we might all pick the same card, or maybe there'll be differing opinions. I know some people like certain heroes more, some people rate certain cards differently. Hopefully there'll be some controversy. Either way, it should be a bit of fun. So let's just get started and get stuck into this pack right here. If I can get it open. These first edition packs can be a little bit tricky. Alright, we'll get the token out of the way and we'll see what we have here. I'm just going to fan all the cards out. Alright. Oh, we got a spicy one. So, I'm just going to put all of the class cards down here. And then I'm going to arrange the other cards by generics up here, and we'll have light and shadow cards up here. It doesn't look like we've got any light talent cards, we've just got some shadow talent cards here. So the first thing I notice about this pack, I'll just put these into their classes. First thing I notice about this pack is there is a Majestic. We have opened a Soul Shield, which is a light defense reaction. Put Soul Shield into your hero's soul when the combat chain closes. A pretty powerful card. It's defense for 6 and costs 2. So you get a pretty good amount of defense out of this one card. And it can of course go into your arsenal, be used to block big dominate attacks. The other thing that's nice about it is it leaves you open because it's a light talent card, so you can go into either Bolton or Prism with that one. Note that there are a pretty decent amount of Prism cards in this pack. We've got a Herald of Triumph as a rare, pretty nice little herald there. Hard to defend that one with the 6 attack or more cards because of its ability, giving attack action cards -1 attack while they're defending it. This is an interesting pick. I think for me, my eye goes to this equipment. Gallantry Gold, which is a very nice card for Bolton. It's obviously a warrior equipment. It can only go in Bolton. So you are looking yourself into a hero straight away, but Bolton's my favorite class, to be honest, and I think that because there's so few light cards and so few warrior cards in this pack, it's kind of nice to ship all these illusionist and shadow cards to your left and try and put someone else in a different class and take all the warrior cards for yourself. So my first pick would be the Gallantry Gold. But that's enough about what I think. Let's get the others in here and see what they have to say.
Hello everybody. I'm just going to do the pack one pick one here, and the cards that strike out at me straight away are the blue Rally the Rearguard. This card is extremely versatile. It's a generic that goes into any deck, so it would keep me open very nicely. The ability is extremely useful with things like instants or brute cards that cannot defend. The equipment here is really powerful. I feel like this is a great card, but it does lock you into playing Bolton straight off the bat. Soul Shield, another great card, and we can see that this pack has some really good illusionist cards as well. But to be honest, I would go, instead of going for the power here, I think what I would do is go for the kind of consistency and pick Rally the Rearguard and blue here, and basically set up the draft and see what I get past next.
Alright, so this is pack 1. when I look at the pack, I look for the lights cards, the shadow cards, and the generic cards. So I try to stay away from class cards, pick one. So we'll be looking at the top half, and these cards will just decide. First, we have four generics, two shadows, one equipment, and one light card. What I am looking at right now is either Tree Gold, as it's very powerful for the Bolton deck, as Battle Worn 1, and it enables your Bolton attack reactions. My second choice would be Soul Shield, which is a light defense reaction, and light defense reactions with this kind of ability, being able to put one card into your soul, is very very powerful and limited. But in the end, I believe that I would pick Tree Gold as my first pick.
Alright, we've opened a pack of Monarch and we've opened a Majestic. That seems pretty good. So it looks like we have Soul Shield and Hero of Triumph as the Majestic and Super. And let's take a look at what's actually quite nice in this pack. So what I generally like to do when I'm looking at a draft pack is I'm going to pull out everything that kind of stands out to me. And honestly, there's a lot of cards that kind of stand out for me in this pack. But basically anything in the bottom row is fine. But if we actually take a look at what's actually quite nice for me to first pick, you never can go wrong with a Lunatize, the yellow one, because you always can get rid of Phantasm. You never go wrong with a nice red Ghostly Visit. There is some decent light options, and I would not be super opposed to Rally, although the blue one is not the one I want. This pack is, although there is a lot of very decent amount of cards, there isn't actually a card that really stands out to me. And honestly, in this pack, when the power level of a pack is actually not peaking, not super high, I like to pick the card that lets me stay open. So I'm going to pick with Lunar-type Plunderer. You play this card 100% of the time when you're playing Shadow, and it's the most amazing card against Prison. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's 3 Prison players in this draft pod after shipping these goodies. So this is my pick.
Just having a look over this pack, the first thing that strikes me, of course, is the Light Majestic Soul Shield. So very strong light defense reaction, playable in both Illusionist and so in Prism and in Bolton. The one potential issue I see is we do also have some very good Prism cards here. Herald of Ravages, Herald of Triumph, Spears of Serenity. I might be somewhat concerned if I take this, then other players start picking these and everything gets cut off. In saying that, we also have the Gallantry Gold, which is the Bolton equipment. So just looking through some of the other potential picks here, I mean, nothing amazing showing up for Leviah. We do have the Lunar-type Plunderer, yellow, very good for blocking Illusionist attacks, so that's 6 power. Ghostly Visit, we can play that in both Chain and Leviah. Of the generics, Rally the Rearguard, pretty strong card with its ability. It's blue as well, it goes in a lot of decks. I think ultimately though, however, despite my sort of concerns about the Prism cards that would go around, I'm still just going to take the Soul Shield. Majestic, slam that red draft all day.
Alright, so this is a pretty interesting pack. It has a nice Majestic and Light, so it leaves me open to 2 classes if I want that. The generics are pretty weak other than the Rally the Rearguard, but I'm not a fan of that unless I'm going into Brute for the blue version or Prism. The Lunar-type Plunderer is good as a 6 against Prism, so that's an option. I don't want the Prism cards are quite good, but I don't want any of them as his 3. So I want to give my opponent a signal that I'm not going to be taking Prism cards. Gives me a better chance of getting what I want coming back in pack 2. Brute cards pretty underwhelming. Bolt of Courage, just no good. So I think here actually I'm just going to take the Rifted Torment, and the reason is I'll try and force the class. I really like this effect where It just deals 1 arcane damage. It's actually very hard to prevent arcane damage in this format. So if I send a signal one way and try and cut all the Runeblade cards, and then just start trying to take all the non-attack actions and Rift Binds and Rifted Torments, I can create a deck that is very hard to deal with in the later game.
All right, hey, here with Pick One Pack One with Jacob Pearson. So just initial thoughts of this pack. You see that there's a lot of Illusionist cards and quite a few decent generics. So the first thing to strike my mind is just having 3 Illusionist cards in a pack means that if we take an Illusionist card, we're pretty reasonably likely to be able to wheel one of the other 2 remaining ones, just based on the number of seats that are available on a table. Or if we want to stay more open, some other options could be picking up this Soul Shield, which is a decent defense reaction if we want to dedicate to a light hero. Although I feel like that isn't really the best idea, considering that probably someone's going to get locked in by this Bolt of Courage, which is a premium warrior card, as well as it's likely going to be a player if they see 3 cards in the pack. They'll probably think my initial thoughts, pick up one of the Illusionist cards and hoping to wheel the other. So I'm not really looking towards that so much. So yeah, my kind of picks is one of the premium Illusionist cards. Out of these 3, we have the Rare Herald of Triumph, which is really strong at breaking the Curse of the Phantasms. There's a lot of 6 power generic in this set. Herald of Triumph is really good at getting around that, and it still has the typical light Illusionist effect of putting it into your hero's soul. Herald of Ravages just being like a really hyper efficient 2 for 7. If it hits, we get to ping for the arcane damage. So I'm probably going to say, just because I love Prism so much, and she really is my girl, I'm going to go ahead and lock in this Herald of Triumph here.
Hey folks, James here with a Pack One Pick One. Look, when I am drafting Monarch in my Pack One, I really like to look at what talent cards that we have. So in this pack we can see we have only a single light card, we've got 2 shadow cards, and the reason why I like the talent cards so much is by picking Pack One Pick One talent card, you're leaving yourself open to 50% of the possible heroes. So it gives you more flexibility to be able to read the signals that are getting passed from your right, and then based on that information, then committing to one of the 2 light heroes or one of the 2 shadow heroes. Obviously, if you pick a generic card, then you leave yourself open to all 4 of the heroes. But it's generally the talent cards are in general a little bit more powerful or interesting. So looking at this particular pack, the thing that really stands out to me first is that we have this very high quality light Majestic, the Soul Shield, and the reason why I like this card is there's not many defense reactions in this set, so you can catch an opponent by surprise big time if you have a Soul Shield set in your arsenal. There's some very important dominate plays, especially from Leviah, and you can really catch them off guard with a Soul Shield. Also, I mean, just the ability of building up your soul essentially is a free roll with this card. You're trading 2 cards to prevent 6 damage, and you're making a soul from it. It's just very powerful. That's certainly would be my pick out of these 3 talent cards, and I also just like the fact that by taking this, there's no more light only cards left in this pack that I'm passing to my left. So that's sort of telling my neighbor that there's probably a light drafter to their right, and get out of my light. But let's have a quick look at the rest of the pack. None of these generics are first pickable by my standards. Gallantry Gold, a fantastic card, but if you first pick this card, it's like you are committing to drafting Warrior, or it obviously doesn't have any other applications, so it's a narrow pick. These two Prism cards, they're both solid cards, but not so exciting for a Pack One Pick One. Good sort of mid-pick cards. The Spears is a little bit more interesting, being a go again, but I'm not really that happy to be first picking that card. Mid-pick card. Mid-pick card. Yeah, this is an easy one, to be honest. Soul Shield all the way. Very happy. Pack one, pick one. Soul Shield.